Hello everybody out there in the bookverse, it's Stephanie, and today I am back to kind of start off a vlog that I am going to be doing for a few days, and for that I'm going to be rereading the Hunger Games trilogy in anticipation for the prequel book that is coming out the 19th of May. That is the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, I think is what it is called, and I am really excited for it. I hear that it follows President Snow as the main character, and I think it's at the 25th Hunger Games time. I could totally be wrong because I don't want to get any spoilers from this book at all, so I've been avoiding information about it. But it is one of my most highly anticipated releases of this entire year, and I wanted to really enjoy this prequel and not be forgetting anything because I haven't read the Hunger Games since I was, I think, a freshman in college, and that was a little bit ago, just saying. And so I want to reread all of these and be able to go into the prequel book with fresh mind of all of these books, and I am so excited because I absolutely love this series. It is so good. It's so well done. I love the characters. I get so invested in their lives. So I am really pumped to be rereading these. And of course, starting with The Hunger Games, the first book in this trilogy. Now, this vlog is going to be spoiler filled, so if you'd like to watch it kind of in preparation for the prequel to kind of refresh your memory about stuff, that's great. But if you don't want any spoilers on The Hunger Games, I just don't want you to get spoiled on stuff if you've never read these books because they're amazing, and going into them for the first time was just such an enjoyable experience, and I want everyone to have that. So I'm going to be starting off with The Hunger Games, and hopefully I'll binge through these really quick and just be able to read the prequel as soon as it comes out on its release date, and I'm just so excited. Hey guys, so now it is in the evening time, and I decided this morning that I was going to go for a walk. It's a really nice day outside, and you know, being stuck inside all day and not being able to really go do too much, I figured I would be active and go for a walk. And I put on sunscreen because I am health conscious, apparently. Gotta protect the skin. And then when I get home, I decided I'm gonna get in the bath and I'm gonna start on the Hunger Games. It sounds like a great plan, except I am not even 2 chapters in and I am bawling like a little baby when Katniss volunteers for Prim. I just start, oh, my eyes are still sore from it, but I start just crying in the bathtub, and then I'm trying to kind of wipe them away, and then sunscreen starts running into my eyes and they're burning and my eyes are gushing water everywhere. I can't even hardly see to read. So it was a little bit more traumatic than I was expecting to read the beginning of this book, but I am absolutely loving it so far. The first couple chapters, when we're just getting to know Katniss, when we're introduced to the Hunger Games, and we learn that a boy and a girl from each of these 12 districts are going to go to this arena, they're going to fight to the death, they're going to try to kill each other, and they're all just children. It's insane. And then, when Katniss volunteers for Prim, it is one of the most emotional parts for me, I think, because she is just so emotional with it, and I already love Katniss because I've already read these books. So that was so amazing, and I love book Peeta so much more than movie Peeta. I don't think he was very well cast, in my opinion. I just don't think that actor fit what I was imagining when I saw Peeta. I imagined it was kind of this like bigger, strong, kind of quiet, sweet teddy bear type guy, and that's not really what we got in the movies. He was shorter than Katniss, and he was kind of scrawny. Like, he wasn't strong like I was imagining. So he's a little bit different, but I love book Peeta so much. I love how he immediately off the bat kind of has Katniss's back, and he's really trying to help her because he's like loves her, and it's so sweet. And getting to know Haymitch again, and once knowing what he's like throughout the series and seeing him at the beginning, it makes me wonder if when he falls off the stage in the beginning at the reaping time, whether that was planned or not, because it drew a ton of attention to them, it drew a ton of attention to him. Maybe he knew who Katniss was and he's like, hey, I need the attention, I need people paying attention to me so that I can get her sponsors and help her to survive this. So I don't know, maybe it was calculated, maybe he was just trashed. I am currently on chapter 11, and I am using my Time Turner bookmark that I bought from Book Roast Etsy shop, and it is so beautiful, and I just kind of thought it was very fitting for like a reread going back in time, and then 3 turns should do it since it's a trilogy. I don't know, I thought it was good. But I am on page 148, so she is currently just getting into the arena. So before this, she was all dressed up and paraded before everybody, and then she went through the training time, and I love Cinna. I think he is one of my favorite characters in this whole series, and he's not in it all that much, unfortunately, but I absolutely love him. I think he is a very well developed character for how short of a time he is in these books. He is Katniss's stylist, so he is the one that makes her look good and impressive and makes her look like someone that people want to give money to because they want her to win. And I think he is just so amazing, and how much he cares about Katniss and wants her to look like she's going to be a success in here because he thinks she can actually win. I just love that. And I love how he tells her, he's like, I asked for District 12. I wanted you. It's not like you're the low person on the totem pole and I got stuck with you because I'm brand new. I just absolutely love him, and I think he's an amazing person. Oh, it's so hard to know what comes and to see these characters and fall in love with them again. So we are currently standing on the little, what is it? Metal circle, I guess is what they call it, waiting for the gong to go off so that they can run and get the stuff before like the bloodbath begins. It's just such an exciting time. I love this in the arena part. I know that's kind of morbid, but I absolutely love this part of the book. So I'm really excited to get into that. I'm sure I'm gonna fly through it because it is just so gripping and you have to. Oh, I love little Rue. I love how she just kind of latches onto Katniss from the beginning, and she's just this little 12-year-old girl, and I can't even imagine going into this arena with someone that young, not even planning on killing them yourself, but just knowing that they are this tiny little 12-year-old thing and someone is going to murder them in the arena. I can't even imagine it. I don't know who came up with this idea, but it is messed up, and I am so into reading about it. What does that say about me? Okay, so I am now on page 247. I am just flying through this book. I am loving my reread of this. I don't know if I've ever loved a reread as much as this, except for maybe Harry Potter. I just got to the part where they announced that there can be 2 victors as long as they are from the same district, and Katniss has decided she's going after Peeta and she's gonna go find him. I just absolutely love the part when they are in the arena, the actual Hunger Games part. I think Katniss is so smart. She is just such a survivor. She goes into survival mode and she does what she has to do to survive, and that is a special kind of person. I don't think I could ever do that. I feel like I would be a wreck. I wouldn't be able to take it. I wouldn't be able to take everyone just dying around me. I would have a panic attack and not be able to keep going, but she is so good at this. And I am so impressed with Rue and how well that 12-year-old tiny little thing does. She survives. She finds herself food. She spies on the other people. She gathers information. I feel like without Rue, Katniss probably would not have survived, which is kind of amazing, but also kind of sad. I feel like I've cried probably more today than I have in the last year of my life. But when Rue died, I could not even. I just started bawling again. Like, my eyes, guys. She is the sweetest thing, and I think her role in this was just to show how horrible these games are and how horrible these people are who are forcing this to happen. So we really just hate them. We just have to hate them so much. I find it very interesting how the richer districts train for this and they want it. These tributes come in just so strong, so skilled. I don't understand how any other district ever wins when you don't know how to use any weapons. You'd feel like you'd have to know how to use a weapon in order to beat these people. So it's just kind of amazing to me that anyone else ever wins, ever. But we know from the second book that every district has had victors, both male and female. And so they must happen sometimes, but it's just crazy. I just can't imagine anyone else ever winning. So Katniss has survived the beginning. She got away with her backpack, right? And she straps herself into trees to sleep. She hunts, she gathers. She's just very built for this arena. And it's just kind of convenient that this arena fits her and what her skills are, considering it was built so long ago. She just got really, really lucky, I think. I also feel like the one boy who learned how to defuse the bombs and then rearm them, genius. I feel really bad that kid actually died. I feel like he should have set them up all over the place. He shouldn't have teamed up with the careers. He should have just set those bombs up all over the arena and let them just kill people. And I think he could have won. I'm just saying, that is amazing, and skills, and like he and Beetee should have gotten together. I'm already jumping ahead to the other books. It's bad. I need to get back to it. I need to get back to reading. So Katniss is alive still. They've announced that there can be 2 victors as long as they're from the same district. So her and Peeta are still alive, and both tributes from District 2. So you have Cato and Clove are still alive. And then Thresh is still alive from District 11. Oh my gosh. Yeah, from District 11. And then Foxface is still alive. I think she's from 5. I think that's it. I'm going with yes, that is it. So she is just going to find Peeta. I'm really excited. I'm honestly probably going to finish this book tonight, so I'll probably update you again in a little bit. But okay, so I have finished The Hunger Games. I don't remember the last time I just binged a book this quickly without intentionally meaning to binge it in a day. I just have been really loving this book. I'm loving my reread of it. I'm so glad I decided to do this before the prequel, because there's so many things in there, just little things that you don't really remember. I mean, you remember that they happened once you read it again, but when you're thinking about the books, you don't really just remember that moment. And one of the things for me was Peeta didn't actually kill anybody in the games except for kind of Foxface, but he didn't really kill her because she ate the berries that were poisonous. So crazy that Peeta can survive and be the victor of the Hunger Games, and he never killed anybody in the Hunger Games the entire time. I just find that crazy to wrap my head around, that Katniss killed, I think, 3? Yeah, 3. And Peeta killed none. It's impressive. Like, he managed to do what he said at the very beginning and stay himself and not let them change him and make him into something he wasn't, because he's just a good, sweet human. And like Katniss and Haymitch say, good people don't win the Hunger Games, but somehow Peeta pulled it off. I wonder if Katniss would have actually gone through with it and killed herself with the berries, or if she was just so confident that the Capitol was going to let them survive that she was gonna do it, because she had to be thinking about her family and thinking about Prim. I mean, she couldn't forget them because Prim is her world. It means everything to her. I can't imagine her being willing to kill herself rather than go back and be with her sister. I think she was just so confident that the Capitol was going to let her live because they didn't want their victors to both die. So that's just something I'm wondering about, maybe like what's going on in Katniss's head at that point. Also, the mutts, the dogs, holy cow, that's psycho, like making them to be the dead victors. These people have just twisted minds. Who thinks up this stuff and thinks, yeah, I think I'm gonna throw these psycho killer dogs into the arena with these children so they can eat them, but I'm gonna make them look like the people that these children have already killed. Yeah, that sounds like it'll be a lot of fun. Like, who thinks of that in their head? You gotta be some sort of twisted to come up with that kind of stuff. But overall, I absolutely adore this book. I love this series. I love this book. This is the perfect beginning to this trilogy. It just sets the stage so well. It makes you hate the people that you're gonna hate throughout, and it really makes you just latch on to these people that you're gonna love. And I just am really excited to keep going with this series. I love the first book. It is so well written, so well done. The pacing in this book is amazing. There's the exciting parts mixed in with like the character development, and she really does a great job with making it not be boring. I don't think I ever felt bored throughout this entire book. I mean, obviously I binged it in a day, and it was just such a good time, and I am so excited to move on and start Catching Fire, because last time I read these books, this was my favorite one out of the trilogy. So I'm excited to see if it still stands up to that, or if maybe one of the other ones is going to beat it this second time around, if I somehow have different feelings about it. But I love this one, and I'm really excited to get going on it. So I think I might start it tonight. Very excited to move on to this one.
I think it's our tradition. It comes out of a particularly painful part of our history.
Yeah.
But it's been the way we've been able to heal.
Hey, so my husband and I decided we were going to watch the Hunger Games movies along with me reading these books. So that's been something fun that we did. We watched the Hunger Games today, and I honestly think they did a really good job with these movies. I didn't really like the camera work when it was all shaky and stuff. It kind of made me feel nauseous a little bit, honestly, in the first movie. So that's all we've watched so far is the first one. But I think that they did a pretty good job with casting on it. I think that Peeta was my least favorite choice for casting. I loved Rue. I think she was a perfect casting choice, and I honestly think that Caesar Flickerman was one of my favorite casting choices in the whole thing. I think he did perfect. He was amazing. He just played that part so well. It was so good. I liked it though. I think they did a really good job of it. They left a little bit of things out that I think were fine, and they just really stayed true to the book. So I enjoyed this movie. I don't really remember the movies as much as the books, but I am now jumping into Catching Fire. Yay! Okay, I'm really excited to be reading this book. I'm currently about halfway through page 174, and they have just announced that the victors are going to be the tributes for this Hunger Games. So far in this book, we've really just been staying in District 12 with Katniss a lot and kind of experiencing her time there with her. We've also gone on the victory tour with her, where they go and they tour the different districts and they show off the victors and kind of bring it back to everyone's mind what's been happening and all these things. So I think it was interesting to see the different districts going in and seeing how their lives are so different, especially when they go to District 11 and they see the huge fences and they see so many more guards and how much more violent the other districts are. That is kind of an eye-opening thing, I think, for all of our characters, maybe not Haymitch as much, but for the Katniss especially. It's just different experience to go on with her. I do like that they skipped through it a little bit more quickly after the main important things happened, especially District 11 was their most important because those are the people that were partially their allies. You had Rue, who was teamed up with Katniss, and Thresh, who saved her life. And I think that Katniss and Peeta did so well in there when they weren't scripted, and I loved their characters, how they acted in those situations. I think it was really amazing for kids being so young, just being so smart and knowing what to do. I felt so bad for so many of these characters, especially Peeta. He was so in love with Katniss, still is, and then he finds out that she's faking it and he's having to fake this relationship with her and keep going, but he loves her so much that he's willing to do it. It's hard to read about him doing it because I love Peeta. I've always been such a huge Peeta fan in these books. I do really like that Katniss continues to hunt and to feed Gale's family because he fed her family while she was in the arena, and she's just kind of trying to maintain a semblance of normal life for herself, but the Capitol's really not allowing that to happen for her. And all the little things that Snow does are so calculated. I know that there's more coming that he does that are just targeted right at Katniss, trying to bring her down. That's just, he's good. He's good, but he's just mean. He's a horrible human being, but he's smart and he knows exactly what he's doing to mess with her head, and he does it really, really well. Stopping by her home where she feels like she should be safer. Her family's there, giving her that sense of just anxiety and fear. And then Katniss getting caught behind the fence and then turning it back on and trying to catch her out there hunting. And you know it's gonna come. You know it's coming that they're going to do this to her because they're trying to get something on her so that they can shut her up. And then, of course, the big thing happens where they announce that the victors are going to be the tributes for the 75th Hunger Games, which is a quarter quell. So every quarter quell, they pull a little piece of paper that has been supposedly put in there since the very beginning of the Hunger Games, and they have some sort of special thing happen. And this year, that is what it says, and I just think that is so fake. There's no way that that is actually on the paper. You know that President Snow pulled that paper out and just said exactly what he wanted to happen and didn't even read the paper at all, which I'm very curious what the actual thing on that paper was. I am positive that that is not it. He just did that because he wanted to kill off Katniss and Peeta and show that the Capitol is still stronger than the victors and shut up the rebellions. But I just wonder what actually was on there, because I know that the 50th one was they doubled the number of tributes, and I can't remember what the 25th one was. I feel like I should know this, but yeah, that is such a snaky little move, and it fits him because he's a snaky guy. I am loving this book. I especially love it when after this point. I think from here on is my favorite parts of the book. We've kind of gotten to the meat of it. They're going back into the arena. They are becoming tributes again. They go through all of this over again, and I love it. I love it so much. For the rest of this book, I'm probably going to end up finishing this today because I've been reading it for a couple days now, and I am really excited, and I have a little bit of time today, so hopefully I'll be able to knock out the rest of it, because the rest of it is just my favorite part of the entire series pretty much, which is crazy, but I love the second Hunger Games. They're just, oh, they're wonderful. They're horrible and wonderful. Okay, so it's been a couple days since I updated you. I'm very sorry about that, but I did end up finishing Catching Fire, and it is still my favorite of the series. I absolutely love this book. The time pre-arena and in the arena is just such a fun ride. I can't get enough of it. I love how when they go into the training center, all the tributes are just kind of chatting with each other and they're hanging out. They put all the tables together because they are friends. They've been through this before and they bonded together. A lot of them are really good friends, and it's so sad to see that they are going in to have to kill each other. And I like that they kind of don't play the games that the Capitol wants them to. They do whatever they want to do. They show up late or they don't show up at all, and they just hang out and paint or whatever. And I love how Katniss is like, I want the old lady. I want the two crazy people. Yeah, those are the people I would like on my team. And I love it because I like her choices, actually. I really enjoy it. I'm so impressed with Peeta painting that picture of Rue, and I'm impressed that Katniss goes in for her little show time to show off her skills, and she decides to hang the previous head game maker, who everyone knows was killed by the Capitol because he screwed up the games that Katniss was in and let Katniss do the whole berry trick. So that's just kind of a little in your face to the Capitol, and I think they deserve it. I think they deserve to see that they aren't going to just roll over and take this. And I love that Katniss and Peeta both did kind of similar vibe things when they go in there without even talking about it. But I do agree with the way the Capitol came back at them with it and gave them full points, because that's just going to make them huge targets and want everyone to take them out. And it's probably the best thing they could have done, besides maybe giving them a 0, but you know that no one would believe it if you gave them a 0. So it's just, everything these tributes do is it shows how smart they are and how much they want to survive. During their interviews, they're talking about how much the Capitol loves them and how that President Snow could change the rules if he wants to, and how this is a terrible outrage and how the Capitol should be so upset about it because they love their victors, and then how Katniss is pregnant. Come on, Peeta. Peeta comes up with the best stuff. I'm like, come on, Katniss. Like, Peeta is he is like carrying you guys through these interviews. Very impressed with that man's ability to speak. And then they hold hands at the end and they're just shoving it in the Capitol's face that they are not going to play their game. But I do really love how realistic it is that when they get in the arena, they do just start going after each other because they know they have no choice and that only one person's coming out alive and they want it to be them. I feel so sad, honestly, that a brother and a sister are in there together. I just can't imagine being in there with your sibling and knowing that if it comes down to the two of you, one of you is going to have to kill the other. It's something that they don't really focus on too much in this book, and it doesn't become a big deal because it doesn't have to happen. But that would be so traumatizing. I don't think I would ever be able to get over that, ever. I love Joanna. I love Joanna in this book, how she comes down and she has Beetee and Wiress, and she's like, I brought you these two psychos because Haymitch said that I had to, and Katniss is just, what is going on? And it's just so entertaining that that's what Haymitch chose for Joanna to do in order to become allies with Katniss to protect her and Peeta. Man, Haymitch, it's just so funny. Is that he picked the thing that he thought would be the worst for her. He could have given her the bracelet instead of Finnick, but no, he decided she was gonna have to deal with Wiress and Beetee, even though it would drive her nuts. I love that so much. And I love Beetee. I think he is so smart. He is an amazing character in here, and there's no way they ever would have succeeded in things without him. He is just so crazy intelligent. Oh my gosh. Another crying point when Finnick can't carry Mags anymore and she just runs into the mist and dies. And you know that she came into this knowing she was going to die. She volunteered for Annie, Finnick's love, so that she wouldn't have to go in there. And she knew she was going to die all along. She's what, 80 or something? There's no way she's going to make it through that. And I definitely did cry a little bit more. My gosh, these books. You know, I feel like I absolutely love this arena. I think it is so well made and it's so smart and there's just so much effort put into it. But I also feel like it couldn't have been that entertaining for the people watching it because so many people died from a lightning strike or killer fog or wave, the tidal wave that comes through. Just those things aren't that interesting, I don't think, for the Capitol to watch, so I wonder why they made it so deadly in there. Did they want it to just be over extremely quickly or what? But I like how Katniss and Finnick kind of hold their own and they are just killing people and taking out what they need to do in order to survive and get their people through and get their alliance through. I feel like that's a huge alliance for them to be in, honestly, and that's just too many. But you understand it when you come to the point and realize that actually they've been lying to Katniss and Peeta and this is all a rebel plot and they're going to blow up the arena and get Katniss and Peeta and the rest of the victors out, take them to District 13 where they're going to be safe and they're going to join the rebellion because mostly they want Katniss. They need a face for their rebellion in order to unite the districts. And that's something that is not explained to them. And they're going in this just having no idea. And I just don't understand why. I don't know why they couldn't have told them. I know Katniss isn't great with these types of planned things, but I feel like they could have given them a heads up that, hey, we're putting you guys in this alliance on purpose because we're all rebelling against the Capitol. They don't have to necessarily tell her the whole story, but kind of explain that. And I think she would have been a lot more open to it and felt a lot more safe with it. I don't know. I'm not exactly sure why they couldn't tell them. Also, the fact that they left Peeta behind, did they really think that that was going to work out? Like, did they really think that Katniss would be very helpful to them if they decided to leave Peeta? Probably not. So I finished this book a couple days ago and I absolutely loved it. It still is my favorite book out of the series so far. I'm only halfway through Mockingjay, but I absolutely love this book, watching the character development throughout it and seeing the different snotty things they do to the Capitol. Just, it is so much fun for me. And of course, the time in the arena is really exciting and I just could not get enough of it. I can't wait for the prequel because I think there's another Hunger Games in it and I just really want some more. And I did watch the movie of this one as well. I thought it was really well done. I really enjoyed it. They follow the book so closely through these movies, and which I really, really love. And it's not something you see a lot in YA books. I feel like they diverge a lot. So I loved it. I loved how they did the movie. I think that they did the arena really well. They did the time in there really well. And I liked pretty much the whole thing. I can't think of a lot in there that I didn't like. I think it was kind of odd to see kind of the Plutarch present Snow interactions going on. And I just don't know if that was going on in the background behind in these books, because I don't know why Plutarch would have said to trash District 12 like that, to send in peacekeepers, to kill people, to whip people, to make them be like that. I just don't see how that is beneficial to Plutarch and his goal. But that's just one of my issues with the movie. Other than that, I think it was pretty well done. I think the casting was well done, and I liked it. I thought it was great. And then I moved on to Mockingjay. So I am currently about halfway through this. I am on page 191, and so far they of course have gone to District 13. They want her to be the Mockingjay. She doesn't want to be the Mockingjay. She's having a lot of mental health issues, understandably, because of all the trauma that she has been through, and also like she's had major concussions. She got electrocuted, so her body's just not loving life at the moment. And also Peeta is not there. He is captured in the Capitol, and then he starts putting out these promos that are saying that people should ceasefire, and she's so confused, and this poor girl just does not know what to do. And she eventually decides that she is going to be this Mockingjay in order to protect Peeta, the other tributes, and to help the districts, because as much as she doesn't necessarily want to have started this war, she did, and she cares about it, and she wants the districts to be successful and beat the Capitol because she wants to kill Snow and get revenge. So it's a little bit of revenge. It's a little bit of she wants to help the districts because they need someone to unite them, to bring them together, and she is kind of the face that has happened because of her rebellious little berries stunt. So I do absolutely love that aspect of it. And I do like that Cinna, oh my gosh, that is one of the worst things I think that President Snow did. Killing Cinna right before she goes into the arena for the second time in the second book was horrible. I love Cinna. He was one of my favorite characters. And I love that he designed her outfit for when she was going to be the Mockingjay. And oh, he's so special. I love him. And then Peeta really comes through and warns them that there's going to be an attack on 13. So they owe him at this point, and they realize that they need to get him out for Katniss's sake so she can continue being the Mockingjay. They go in, they rescue him, and he's been tracker-jackered, and he thinks Katniss is dangerous and a horrible person who's going to kill him. I'm like, seriously, this poor girl cannot catch a break. The one person she feels like just loves her no matter what, well, I guess her sister and her mom, but she knows that he just loves her unconditionally and would do anything for her, now thinks that she is a mutt and something horrible and a horrible person who just lies and is evil. And I'm just, man, Snow, he's a boss. He's horrible, but he is good. He knows exactly what he's doing. And this makes it just so exciting to see the prequel, to read the prequel. I want to read about Snow. I want to read his origin story, because if he is like a little less evil at that time, but still as smart and clever and willing to do what he needs to do to get what he wants, that's going to be fascinating for me. I really enjoy Plutarch's character in this book. I think that he is a lot more interesting in the book than the movies. So we've watched the first movie because that's about the part that we're at. So we watched the first movie and I just feel like they don't do Plutarch justice in the movies. In the books, he's almost a sociopath. He's like a sociopath who has channeled his like killing and hurting other people desires into the games and making the games, and then into the rebellion, because like he wants to win, he wants to be on the winning side, and he wants kind of that glory, but he doesn't. He's so complex and so hard to describe, but I really actually love him as a character at the same time as I kind of hate him. He just has almost no sympathy for other people. He has no empathy. He doesn't care if other people get hurt. He kind of has his goals, and then he's just impressed with other people even when they don't necessarily do what he wants. Like when Katniss is disobeying orders out on the field, but then he ends up getting really great footage and it's good and like it helps their cause, and he's like, oh yeah, that's great, kill people, do whatever you want, like this is a show, that's what we're putting on. And it's so weird, but so fascinating. Plutarch's unique and interesting, and I really enjoy him a lot in the books, but not so much in the movies. In the movies, they kind of make him out to be scared and kind of President Coin's little man and always hang on with her, but really he doesn't care. He just wants to be on the winning side, and he's chosen that side, and whether it's Coin or whether it's some other president, he's going to be on the winning side, and he does not care either way who dies to get there. It's just fascinating. Honestly, I feel like Coin is kind of the same way, except she's eviler about it. She knows exactly what she's doing, and she's willing to just kill everyone to do it, and she's willing to let other people just fight amongst themselves and then come in and win. She's just an evil person, and I hate her. But okay, now I'm gonna move on with the books and then probably watch the last movie after I finish, but I'm loving my reread. It's gone so well, and I think this vlog is gonna be really long. Sorry guys. Okay, so sorry I'm crying, but I just finished Mockingjay, and I forgot how horrible things are for this poor girl. Oh my gosh, it's insane how like everyone just abandons her. Like they use her and then they leave her, except for just so few people, and she's been through so much, and oh, it's just so sad that all along everything that happened in this book comes because she wanted to save her sister's life, and that she volunteered so that her sister could live, and then she dies in the end anyways. And so you can just imagine that Katniss feels like everything she went through and everything she did was not for nothing, but it didn't have the purpose that she wanted it to, because her sister died in the end anyways. Whew. Oh my gosh, I cannot remember the last time I cried this much over a book. This is insane, because I know what happens, and I feel like I cried more this time than I did the first time reading these books. I don't know how people can't like Peeta. I've seen that aside from Gale, like Peeta is the second least liked character, and I do not see it. Peeta is so good to her. He takes care of her. He stands by her after everything he goes through, and she does not treat him all that well. He still loves her and wants to take care of her and wants her to be happy. He's an amazing person. And I am sorry, but I really cannot stand Katniss's mom. I think she is one of the most selfish people. Her 17-year-old daughter went through the Hunger Games twice, had to kill people, watch people be killed, almost be killed herself. She watched her sister die. Like, she went through so much. And then when she is exiled to District 12, her mom won't even go with her. She's 17. She's still a kid. And her mom refuses to go with her and to take care of her because she can't face it. That's just so selfish to me. I can't understand. I get that that is really hard for her. I am sure that she is traumatized. But she needs to take care of her daughter. I can't believe that she just kind of leaves it to other people. And Katniss is just alone in the house. I mean, she has someone to come in and cook for her and make sure she eats. But other than that, she's just alone. And that's so hard until, of course, Peeta comes, because Peeta is amazing and I love him and I am so glad she ends up with him. Yeah, this was a ride, guys. So I think the last time I updated you, I was only about halfway through and they were just starting to really make some progress in the districts. And all they had left was District 2, so they go there. And I feel like Katniss is a little hard on Gale throughout this. Like, Gale comes up with very good strategic moves to win a war. And I know that Katniss has so much trauma going on and she just can't quite get there, and that is fine. But also, like, Gale is very smart and he knows how to win. Yeah, I wish there was a different way too, but I feel like Gale really does what he feels like he has to do. He's not as heartless as Katniss makes him seem in her head. And so I think that's kind of unfortunate. But I really struggle with pretty much the whole time when they are going through the Capitol and Katniss makes her team feel like they are on a mission to kill President Snow. Well, they don't actually believe her, but that's what she tells them. And it just feels so pointless. It feels like Finnick died for no reason because they didn't do anything. I mean, they didn't help anything. That entire part of them going through the Capitol and trying to get to Snow had no point. In the end, it was just people died who didn't have to die. And Katniss, like, went through things that she wouldn't have had to go through. I feel like it would have been better if they hadn't done that. And I guess you never know, right? Katniss does not know that that is going to be a pointless thing, but really, does she really expect to be able to get in and assassinate Snow? How is she going to do that? She has no clue how to get in there to him. She has no one in her group that knows how to get there. So I feel like that was a very pointless thing for her to put her people through. I know she was scared to go back to District 13's people because she felt like she was going to be killed, but just putting her whole crew through that and having other people die, I don't think was very good of her. But then again, she's been through a lot of trauma and she probably doesn't make the best decisions sometimes. Understandable. But it was really just hard to read, especially when Finnick died, because I love Finnick. He is one of my favorite characters. I think he has just such an amazing story and background, and I feel like if we could read a book from his perspective, maybe starting with his games, then his experience afterwards, that would be really awesome. I would love that. I honestly do like how the book ends. I know a lot of people don't like that. I don't like that Prim dies. I feel like that's so horrible to do to Katniss on top of everything else. But I kind of like that she kills Coin because Coin is just not, she doesn't care about the people, honestly. I feel like she's just so focused on gaining power and becoming the president and kind of getting back what 13 lost. And I feel like that's very sad. And I think it's great that an actual person from one of the districts becomes president in her place. I also don't like that they made a Hunger Games for Capitol children. I don't think that's fair. Those children didn't do anything. If you're going to make a Hunger Games, put people in it that were in charge. Like, throw President Snow and all of his accomplices out there and make them kill each other and fight to the death. And when there is a victor, say that person gets to, like, live forever in exile or something like that. Like, that person's the only one that gets to live. But I feel like you shouldn't do that to the children. That's not their fault. And you're going to execute these people anyways. So having these Hunger Games is nothing against them. And it's just going to make people hate you and feel like you're not as good of a person and you're not going to make a better society than the Capitol already had. So I really don't like that Katniss votes that way. And I get that Haymitch votes with her because, like, he feels that he feels that loyalty to her and that he owes her because of all he's put her through. But I love that Peeta, Beetee, and Annie did not. I love those characters. All three of them are just amazing, and yeah. But overall, I really do like the ending. I just struggle with some of the stuff that happens in here because I feel like it just has no point to it, and it makes it so sad that people suffer going through it. And I struggle with that part so much. But I actually do like the ending, except for Prim dying. I'm so excited for the prequel. This book just makes you really get inside Snow's head a little bit and see what he's thinking. And I'm so excited to read a book about him and how he got to where he is. And I think it just has so much potential because I know he's a horrible human being, but he is a fascinating character. I really, really want to read it. I'm hoping to just binge it the day that it comes out. I want to stay home all day, binge that book. I am beyond excited for it, but that's it for the Hunger Games for me. I love this reread. This series is amazing. I feel like the characters in this series are just so well done. There's so much variety in the different types of characters and the different feelings they have towards the things that are happening and different loyalties that are going on. And like Boggs turning into this amazing person who you didn't expect to come out of this, but he's just one of the best characters, and he's one of the best people from District 13. He's one of the best leaders in this whole thing. It would have been amazing if he would have been the leader instead of Coin. I think Katniss has so much development throughout this and goes through so many things, and just watching her deal with it and be able to push through. And even that she has kids at the end, when she never wanted them, she felt like she couldn't handle that, and she and Peeta end up having children, and that I love that happens. I know a lot of people don't like that Katniss ends up having children, but I love it, especially since the Hunger Games are no longer a thing. I think that is something that could maybe give her a little bit of hope and see how happy her kids are. I'm sure Peeta is so good to them and is such a great dad, teaches them to make cookies, and I think this is such an amazing series. I do still feel like my favorite book in the series is book 2. I love it. I especially love their time in the arena. I think that arena is so cool, so well designed. I absolutely love the second book. I love the first book. The third book is just so borderline something I love, but there's just things in it that I can't quite get over, and it bugs me, and so it's just hard for me to read. But I absolutely love the series, and I can't wait for the prequel.